December 22nd, 2016. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 116 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So welcome back, Mike. You had a little Vegas trip here recently, and we're going to be talking about that on the show.
Had a good trip.
Good. Excellent. Well, one of the things we wanted to talk about, and you had seen a billboard on the freeway for Hollywood Casino.
Right. One of the major freeways here in San Diego, which most people would take, right, to head out to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And the billboard said that you could get $500 rebate for new signups.
I think what it said was like play $500 free on us, or it's something. Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. And what it turns out is it's a loss rebate. So if you play only slots, you can't use it on table games. But if you lose $500, they'll give you $500 back in free play.
Right.
And in fact, it's funny because Plaza in Las Vegas is doing like an identical giveaway right now.
For new signups?
That's the kind of thing. $500. And then the way they give it to you back, it's back in free play, $250 one week, and then $250 the following week.
Right.
So that's the way
now,
that they
at Hollywood, we don't know how you get it back.
No, it's the same way.
Is it?
I actually saw the instructions, yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
You looked them up online?
No, I actually was in there and they had a printed sheet that kind of explained it.
Right.
Now, the problem is when we actually went in and we had already signed up, so we already had cards.
Right.
So were we new members? Well, I mean, we already had cards.
But
so
the place just opened.
Yeah,
when we first got our card, they didn't have that promo.
Correct, yes.
So now, a few weeks after it opens, they have the promo.
Yeah.
Which kind of screws the people who
went out there initially,
early,
right? But I think what's happened is, there was a big push initially, there were big crowds initially, right, for the opening, and I think it's dropped off quite a bit, to be honest with you. From what I've heard, and when we were out there, we saw it wasn't very crowded. So maybe that's why they introduced this. So the problem is that when you go into the casino and you talk to the person at the desk, at the Players Club desk,
who signs people up for a card,
they can't give you very good information on this promotion. Now, I went in and said, do you have to be a new member? Do you have to be somebody who has just gotten a card? And the woman who was helping me said, well, here, let me look, and got out the description of the promotion.
Right.
And just starts reading it. And I'm thinking, well, I've read through this. And it is poorly worded. I don't know if you saw it too.
No, I didn't see it.
Because it's, new members or, returning for it was vague.
Yeah.
It really was vague. It wasn't like you have to have not, had a card with us before.
So in other words, you don't really get an answer on that.
Right. So
she did not know.
No, and after she read it, he said, "Oh, I think you do have to be new and have to, get a card," which could be.
Right.
But the fact that it's so vague, well, I'm certainly not going to risk it. And there was no kind of sign up. There wasn't like something where you signed something or opted in. It's like you're officially in it. If it were something like that, I'd feel a little more comfortable.
Right.
But,
Yeah, because you could go to the machine, lose $500. Hey, give me my free play. No, you don't qualify.
Right.
Why was I playing? I don't want to play slots.
And the problem is, even if I had asked to speak to a supervisor, we've been through this before, does anybody really know when it's something like this from a legal standpoint? Can anybody say absolutely? Maybe if you went high enough, there'd be a guy who would say, all right, I'm going to make sure that you qualify for this. Here's my card. Here's my name. And, maybe you'd feel a little bit better.
This is my point. You go to the effort of making this huge billboard sign to put on the freeway. Mm-hmm. So as a person's driving, like me, who's distracted by everything, sees the sign and is trying to read it, it really doesn't explain a lot.
No.
But, you go there thinking, okay, well, I've heard of this before. And then when you get there and ask somebody, they have no clue.
Yeah, they actually pull out the sheet and start reading it instead of, oh, very good. Now, see, the thing is I mean, that's better than giving me an answer without knowing at all.
Right, sure,
and making something up, just because that's almost human nature. It's like they want to help you, right? So, I don't want them to do that.
Up and it's wrong. That's terrible.
That's worse. Yeah.
That's way worse. But don't you think that the person at the desk who handles this stuff should have it down cold?
Yeah.
I mean, if you went into any other business, It's in every business, though. I mean, you go.
Oh, yeah, this happens everywhere.
You go to Kohl's and you say, where is blah blah blah, and the person, I don't know if we have that, and they search around, and you would think, well, you work here, right?
No, it is very common. You're right. It's not just casinos; it's other places
it's
too.
Other places too. But it's just frustrating because we didn't know whether we should take advantage of this or not.
Well, and I just decided I'm not going to risk it. Yeah, here's what she should have done was said, I'm not exactly sure. Let me find somebody who is.
Right.
If they don't know, I know they're trying to be helpful, but I don't want them to try to figure it out on the spot. I want them to, actually find out the answer.
$500 to find out that they were wrong.
So anyway, we don't play slots, but we would have done this in a second. Sure. And if we had never, if we really were there for the first time, then we would have done it because $500 loss rebate, that's great. Go play a high volatility slot. Maybe you'll get lucky and win a lot.
Hope to win a lot.
And if you don't, you get the $500 back in. And we're local, so we could go back 2 weeks in a row.
Sure.
Right.
And you would take your rebate in free play, you would take it back and probably play video poker.
Yeah, if you could do that, play something that would, where the house edge isn't as high. Yep.
Right, and you would hope to get, maybe you'd get 450 of your 500 back. So it would have cost you $50 to take a shot at winning some big jackpot.
Right.
But we can't do it because we don't know whether.
Yeah, we couldn't get a solid answer. So anyway, yeah. All right. So you're back from your trip. You went to the National Finals Rodeo. Tell us all about it.
Okay, well, we got there on Friday afternoon, and we actually we took an Uber from the airport.
I thought you said somebody picked you up from the airport.
Well, they were, but they were late.
Oh, that's happened before. Okay, so they called,
but they called my house here in San Diego. To tell me they were late. So they got my mom, who was watching the kids. She called me and said, they're going to be late.
Okay.
And so Lynn and I were like, well, let's just get an Uber. And we got an Uber in like a matter of minutes.
Sure.
I mean, it was crazy fast.
Yeah, good.
It's like the guy was sitting there waiting for us.
That's great. So on a Friday afternoon, that's good. Because when we were there on that Thursday night, it was real crowded. But you were there Friday afternoon, not too bad.
It was not bad at all.
Yeah, Mike, you got to get rid of your house phone. Okay, I don't know why Caesars is linked to your home phone. First of all, right?
First of all, I don't know how they have that number. Right? How do they have my house phone number?
You must have provided it at one point.
I guess at one point I did.
Unless they looked it up.
I know they have my cell numbers. They've called me. Yeah. My host has called me on the cell number before. Okay. So, I don't know.
All right. So they were going to have a ride for you. The ride was late. I remember that happened before, too.
Right. It happened before. And I don't know if it's traffic or what.
Yeah.
But they were calling to tell me they're going to be late.
Well, at least they called. That's good. Yeah. All right.
So I said, well, we've already got here and we're waiting. So, no, we're getting an Uber.
Good.
So we got an Uber because, it's a few bucks.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to wait for the guy to get there.
No, because you're going to be ending up tipping. I know you. You're going to tip the guy.
I'm going to tip the guy more than it cost me to take the Uber plus the Uber tip.
Yeah. And then this way you jump in the Uber and you're gone. You're not waiting at all. Yes, good.
Yeah, so we got there and we were kind of in a hurry because we landed, we got there like 4-ish or whatever.
And when did the rodeo start?
The rodeo started at 6:30.
Okay.
You had to get the shuttle at 6:15, I think.
Okay.
And it actually started like 6:45 or 7.
Okay,
or
all right.
So we wanted to get something to eat and check in. So we did all that, and we went to the rodeo. It was excellent.
Good. Yeah, I actually watched it live on.
It was on ESPN.
Oh, okay. I was watching on CBS Network.
Oh, okay.
CBS Sports Network.
I think ESPN2 or something had it too.
All right. Well, anyway, I watched it.
So anyway, we're watching that, and it was very good.
Good.
We came back, and I said to my wife, okay, let's play little craps before we go to bed, right? Yeah. Because you can't go to bed.
What else are you going to do, of course?
What else are you going to do there? So we were at Caesar's Palace. Surprisingly, Friday night, a plethora of $15 tables.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it crowded?
There was even a couple tens, I believe.
Really? Okay.
It was fairly crowded.
Okay.
We did have to kind of push onto a table.
Oh, wow.
I walked around the pit a couple times, and then some spots came open. So we went over there. It wasn't going so good at first. And so it was by this time it was maybe 11:30, and my wife said, I'm going to go to bed. I said, okay, well, I had a few $100s left from my initial buy-in. I said, okay, I'm going to stay and play this till it's gone. And she knew I'd be longer than,
of course, sure, minutes, she knows.
Of course. So she went off to bed. The very next shooter, after she left, so her and I were betting the all tall, all small, like $10 on each of them. I have 30 out there, she has 30 out there.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I put 10 out there. The very next shooter hits them all.
Nice.
Hits them all.
Wow.
So,
boy, you in that bed, Mike.
Yeah, and geez, if my wife had been there, it would have been double the amount. Plus all the money I made on all the numbers.
Sure.
So I'm pretty happy. I text her up in the room, oh, I've got all my money back and I'm up, $1,500 or whatever. And she said, okay, well, you should quit. And I, of course, I didn't.
Yeah, no.
So I waited. The next shooter hits them all.
And you still had $10 on them?
I had 15 at this point.
Oh, okay.
I went up because I figured, I hit them. I'm going to put 15,
nice.
15.
Jeez, Mike.
He hits them all.
Amazing.
Yeah. And, I'm just sitting there thinking, why isn't my wife here? If she had stayed 2 more shooters, of course, might have changed everything.
Yeah, just don't even think
that way. But anyway,
way.
after that, I was up quite a bit. And
I
thought, okay,
bet.
I was up, I think at that point, close to 4,000 or 5,000 for the night.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. I'm going to go to bed.
Well, good, because the text that you sent me telling me about that happening twice in a row was before midnight. So, you got to bed.
I was in bed. I was in bed before midnight.
Wow.
I remember I was falling asleep. It was like 12:15, and I was thinking, wow, this is pretty early to be going to bed. As a matter of fact, on this trip, I went to bed both nights, Friday and Saturday, the earliest I have ever gone to bed in Vegas.
Wow.
You would have been proud.
Yeah, I would have been proud.
You would have been proud of me. So we went to bed. We got up the next morning fairly early. My wife did all this spa stuff. And I was down at the tables playing. And I met up with a few listeners.
Yeah, that's right. Because I basically had tweeted out you were going to be down there like 10 a.m. or something at Caesar's Palace. Yeah, good.
We ate breakfast. She went to her spa stuff. I went down there.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because at one point, the whole half of the table we were on was all listeners.
Isn't that great? Because this is not like a big event like Vimp, right? It's just you there for a short period of time. Yeah, that is so great that many people showed up.
Yeah, well, Greg was there and his girlfriend Christy. Now they live there.
That's right. Yes.
So they live there. So, but he had just gotten off work and he drives for UPS. He's still in his delivery uniform, right? So, the dealers were giving him a hard time about that. like, why is this guy wearing this shirt here? Well, he came right after work.
Yeah.
So he was there. And then Zach was there, who used to live in Encinitas.
Which is close to us here in San Diego.
But I found out he moved up to the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
And he was there the whole time, all morning until we left, which was like 1 or 1:30 or something. And then Andrew showed up, who is moved to San Diego.
Oh, okay.
So he lived, I think, up in the LA area or somewhere and has moved down to San Diego because his wife is a physician's assistant at Grossmont Hospital, which is like basically...
Oh, I could walk there from my house practically.
Your house. Yeah, I mean, that's how close it is.
Yeah.
So he lives down here now and is looking for a house in this area, which is where we both live.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought that was funny. And then Brad was there from Houston, who we saw at Vis.
Oh, yeah, Vis. That's right.
Yeah. He was there.
Oh, I hope things... Boy, poor Brad followed us over to Cosmo, right, where we had just that horrific
session. We had a pretty good morning there.
Okay, good.
So we all won. We all won.
Good.
So,
good.
So I think he did okay, but it was funny because for whatever reason, Brad, I apologize. His name, and why as soon as I saw him, I knew his face.
Yeah.
But I can't remember Brad, and then he reminded me he looks like Brad Pitt. So now, all I've ever thought about is Brad Pitt's here to play with me.
Wow.
So Brad was there the whole time. So it's Andrew, Zach, Brad, me, Greg, Christy, and then Lynn showed up after her appointment, and she was all of us on that one side.
Oh, that's great.
Table.
That's great.
It was pretty funny. There was a guy, I got to tell this quick story. So this guy comes, young guy, maybe like mid-20s, I'd say.
Yeah.
And he throws out a wad of cash on the table. He was on the other side, right in the middle of a roll.
Okay, sure.
Throws out a wad of cash. And the guy's like counting it out very slowly. The dealer was an older guy, and he was just counting it out. They can only count out $2,500 at a time.
Yeah, and then they got to drop it and start again. They stack it. Yeah, that's right. And they start again. Yeah.
Stack it. Anyway, it was $12,500.
Wow. Okay.
Is what he bought in for, all in $100 bills.
Okay. Right. Well, that's good at least.
Yeah. At least it was hundreds. So he gets his $12,500. It's this kid. He's got a old T-shirt on his head. Okay.
Like a turban or something wrapped around?
Yeah, kind of like a turban. Like he put the neck part around his head and then flipped the back part up. Okay. So it goes back.
Okay, right.
Kind of like he's trying to make a turban, or I don't know what the deal was.
Okay.
One of the dealers told me after the kid left that he said, he's in here all the time. He always buys in for a large sum. plays the same thing, and he's been wearing that ratty T-shirt on his head for like the last 3 years.
Okay.
And he looked at me and he said, he wants us to think he's weirder than he is, but he's not really that weird.
Okay.
And Lynn was laughing because he was very nervous. He was fidgety and playing with his hands and biting his nails, but he never bet. So
the whole time he didn't bet?
He bought in for $12,500, and it was a $15 minimum table. He made 4 bets in an hour and a half.
Okay.
All in the field, all for $15.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. One was for 30.
Oh, okay.
So he bet 15 the first time after he had watched for like 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, oh, he's waiting for his roll. Well, when his roll came around, he passed it.
Okay.
And he bet $15 in the field on one roll. Not the come out roll, just any particular roll.
Yeah.
It lost. So we were all laughing. Well, he's down $15 now. A few rolls later, he bet 30 and won. Mm-hmm. So now he's up $15.
Yeah, right.
Then a while later, he bet another 15 and lost. And then a little while later, he bet another 15 and won. That all took about an hour and a half. In that hour and a half, then he just left.
Okay.
Cashed out and left.
Yeah, all right.
What is the deal with that?
I don't know.
$12,000. He could have bought in for $30 because that's all he bet.
Yeah.
Anyway, we all got kind of a kick out of that. He was very, very strange.
Now, you were telling me that didn't this guy claim to win
The dealer told me that he claimed that by playing this way, he was making $1,000 a day.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. $15 field bets, Mark. That's what we ought to be doing.
That is amazing, especially when you only make 4 of them in an hour and a half. That's not much time to make that 1,000.
No,
but
he must be working hard.
I've got to take his word for it.
You got to go around. Oh, it was so crazy. And Lynn thought he was like laundering money. She's like, oh, he's just laundering his money.
Well,
that could be a case
Sure,
too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He just looks so weird. It's probably the same $12,500, right? Every time he cashes out, he gets it.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. So that was the interesting thing there. We played for a while. The rolls went well. They were up and down a little bit, but they weren't bad. And in the long run, we won.
Good.
Thanks to a couple of good rolls.
Good.
So then about, I guess it was 1:30 or 2, my wife, all the times we've been to Vegas, has never been to the Palazzo or the Venetian or the Wynn or the Encore.
Really?
Those 4. No,
oh, wow.
Had never been.
Huh.
So I said, well, let's go over, look at the Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
So we went to each casino, and we walked in Venetian first, walked around, looked at all the decorations. I said, well, we're here. We might as well play. We played and had a pretty good roll, and I think I won like $800, $1,000, something like that. So I was really happy. I was thinking, God, this trip's going well. I won Friday night. I won Saturday morning. I won here.
Yeah.
Then we go over to Palazzo. Now, at Palazzo, they've got this bet called the repeater bet.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we've talked about it before, but yeah.
So if you make like 6 sixes, it pays 90 to 1.
Right. It's individual bets, right?
So individual bets.
You can bet on any number other than a 7.
They have a big rectangle out there, and they have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Except no 7.
and each little square, inside that little square, like it'll have 6, and then there'll be 6 little circles inside that square.
Okay, and that's where they keep track of how many times that's been rolled, right?
So every time a 6 was rolled, they had these little markers, like just little round dots, and it had 6 on it.
Right.
And they'd pull one out of their rack, and they'd put it on that little circle.
Okay, and so the idea is that if you bet on the 2 and the shooter rolls 2 2s before a 7, that wins.
That wins.
If you bet on the 3 and he rolls 3 3s before a 7, that wins. All the way up to 4 4s, 5 5s, 6 6s, and then it kind of goes backwards. So then 6 8s, 5 9s, and so on.
Right,
yeah.
all
Okay.
the way down to 12, which is 2 12s.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got there. Lynn had to go to the bathroom. I rolled. Nothing really happening. She was still in the bathroom. It was a completely empty table. I rolled again. I had a pretty good roll, but didn't win any repeaters or anything, but I had a winning roll.
Yeah.
So then Lynn comes back, and I said, well, why don't you roll? She rolled 9 winners on the repeater.
So 9 of the different numbers.
9 of the different numbers on the repeater. She rolled 6s twice. Now the first
on the same roll.
On the same.
So
roll.
she rolled 12 6s before a 7.
She actually rolled 14 6s because she had won it once, and then once you win it, you can rebet it again immediately. And so she won it again a second time, and then she had 2 more 6s before she 7'd out.
Wow, holy cow.
So she had 14 6s.
Now, I assume you had like a place bet on the 6, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was up to 600.
Wow, I'm surprised it wasn't more than that, basically, the way you play.
I know, I was kept looking at these things, and I was up, too. I should have bet more. I should have been going crazy, but I started with $30, and I was just pressing.
Oh, $30, so like to cover all the numbers.
No, I started 30 on the 6. To cover
I'm sorry.
Numbers,
sorry. I got ahead of myself.
When she first started rolling, I gave him $20.
And
that was $2 on each number.
On each one, I'm sorry. Okay, but the place bet you had $30 on. Yeah,
30, and I collected a few times.
I'm just making things confusing. Okay, go ahead.
Well, but anyway, so I started with $2 on each one. And what I did is when one of them hit, then I went to $5 on it. So the first time the 6s hit, I had $2 on it. It pays 90 to 1. I get $180. Mm-hmm. The second time I had $5 on it, so I get $450.
Yeah.
So she made 2 6s. She made 1 8 at $2.
Mm-hmm.
So that
So when you say 1 8, she rolled an 8 6 times. I got you. She won the bet.
I think when she 7 out, she had like 3 more on it. But she hadn't. So to win that bet, she made it 6. She made a 5, a 9. So that's 5. Mm-hmm. She made a 4, a 10. That's 7. She made a 3 and 11. That's 9.
Amazing.
2 and 12 were the only ones she didn't make. Uh-huh. And it's funny because right when her roll started, she rolled a 2 and a 12 within the first 4 rolls.
Okay, so she already had one of them.
She already
on each
had one of them. She just needed to roll one, but all that time. And I don't know how many points she made. Anyway, it was the best roll I've ever seen. And it turned out to be like a $4,000 roll.
Yeah.
That roll for me. The funny thing is, later in the trip, we go to Cromwell, which has 100 times odds. Mm-hmm. And it just occurred to her and I about the same time we looked at each other. It's like, oh my God, what if I had rolled here and I had made, 14 6s?
Yeah.
Right? Because I would have started off with, $5 and I was playing like 5 with 200 odds. Then if it hit, I'd go 300 odds.
Yeah.
It would have been incredible.
Sure.
Right?
Well,
no goofy.
Stop with all these what ifs. All right. You won. All right. Quit complaining. Now, meanwhile, folks, I'm here at home and Mike is texting me.
Right.
And he's texting, oh, yeah, Lynn just hit the sharpshooter, 12-11. I'm like, the sharpshooter? And I'm thinking, well, the sharpshooter bet is like the fire bet,
right.
Except the points don't have to be unique. And so I wrote back and I said, what do you mean the sharpshooter? What? And you texted back again, the sharpshooter. She rolled 12-6. And it's like, what? This doesn't make any sense. So finally he called me.
I don't know why I had that in my head.
All right, the repeater bet,
After she finished her roll, I said, we got to leave, Yep. So before we left, we went up to... I call it Bela Lugosi Stadium, but it's Lugosi.
Oh, Lugosi Stadium. Right.
Anyway, because we wanted to check that out.
Yeah.
No more craps table there.
Oh, that's too bad. They used to have one in like a dedicated room.
Right.
Yeah.
And the dealers told me that the room was kind of small.
It was small.
It was cramped.
Yeah, it was.
Complained about that.
Well, I can understand that.
It probably wasn't crowded, so they got rid of it.
Yeah.
Actually, they have no gambling up there at all.
Oh, that's too bad.
No blackjack tables,
okay.
Nothing.
All right. Oh, well. Well, it's not like we took advantage of it, so we can't be sad about it.
But while I was there, I did make a bet there at the sports book on the San Diego State men's football team.
Right. For the Las Vegas Bowl.
Against Houston.
Yep.
And the Aztecs were getting 3.5 points, but I took the money line to them to win. Mm-hmm. Everybody I know except you said I was crazy, that there's no way State wins that game.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they won.
Well, it's funny because the first quarter it looked like they were going to get slaughtered, and then they came back and dominated.
They just dominated. Yeah. Well, Houston didn't score for 3 quarters.
Yeah, good. Well, good for you. That's a good bet. So you even won that bet. Wow.
I've got that coming.
Nice.
Still. It's in the process.
Good.
So then we went over to the crappy casinos of Wynn and Encore, which have crappy double odds.
That's right. You didn't remember that, did you, when you went over there?
I didn't remember that. We bought. I said, well, we might as well play here. Our luck's going so good. We buy in, and I immediately, the point was like 6, the first, and I immediately put 5 times odds.
Yeah.
And the deal, it's double odds.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's right. God. And of course we lost there.
Yeah. Okay.
But I didn't buy in for much.
Yeah.
At that point, I thought, well, I'm not going to play here.
Yeah.
So we just played a little and then we left.
Okay, good.
And then we took an Uber back to Caesars.
Okay.
Because it was cold and we didn't want to walk all the way back, and I was wearing shorts like an idiot.
Good.
So we went back to Caesars and we just basically went to dinner over at BLT Steak. Had a great dinner.
Oh, at Bally's, you mean?
We went to Caesars, changed.
Oh, okay.
Then walked over to Bally's, had dinner at BLT Steak.
Good.
And it was awesome.
Good, like last time. Yeah, good.
We really had a good dinner.
Great.
And it was funny. So then we come back. Well, we went to Cromwell, played a little there, and it didn't go so well at Cromwell, but it didn't go bad.
Yeah.
We only were there a little while. Then we headed back over to Caesars, we played there for maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It went okay. I won a little bit, nothing spectacular. And we went to bed.
Okay.
At 11 o'clock.
All right. Amazing.
11 o'clock.
Amazing.
Yeah, in bed.
Well, and you had like a morning flight, did you? Not like an early morning flight, but
no, it was like 10:30.
We
had to be at the airport at I think the flight left at 11:30. We got there at 10.
Yeah.
So we had to leave Caesars about 9:30. So I got up early because I went to bed early.
Yeah.
And I said to Lynn, no breakfast. Let's just play craps until it's time to go.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. And while I was playing, and it was funny, they had 2 tables open, and the table I was on was empty. It was just me.
Okay.
And the other table had 4 or 5 guys on it.
Did you give them your card? Because I thought maybe that last day you wouldn't give them your card because it might mess up your ADT, right?
No, I did because I figured I'd play in for a couple hours.
All right.
So, I figured I was going to get enough.
All right. I'm overthinking it.
Yeah. No, if it had been a short time, I might not have.
Okay. All right.
But I gave my card. And while I was playing, up walked another listener.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I hope I got your name right. I think it's Scott.
Okay.
I mean, he told me his name, and I talked to him for quite a while. I should remember this, but afterwards I was kind of blanking on that. And he was from Wisconsin, from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And the game was on, well, the pregame stuff was on the TV.
Right.
And it was like snowing like crazy.
Yeah.
And he said he had season tickets, but he gave his tickets to his sister.
Oh, okay.
Because they were in Vegas for like 4 days or something.
Yeah.
And he wasn't staying at Caesars. He was staying at Bellagio, but he walked over because he figured I might be up gambling
in the
morning.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So anyway, we played for a while together, and then we talked for a bit. And that was very nice. I was just like, he just walked up and said, "Are you Dr. Mike?"
That's great.
And you didn't tweet that I was there.
Well, I mean, people knew that you were there that morning. I didn't know, but that morning I didn't tweet. No, because I figured you're not going to have time
to. He picked me out unless he just like.
Oh, he heard your voice. He heard your.
There's one guy on a table by himself. It must be him.
That could be it too.
Right.
Yeah, that could be it too. Yeah.
But it was so funny. He's a super nice guy. We talked a lot about.
Yeah.
So, and that was it. And then after him and I, we didn't have too good of luck, but it wasn't terrible at all. So, and he came home quite a big winner.
That's great.
I was very happy.
Good. Boy,
it was such a pleasurable trip.
Yeah.
Harris Rincon. You see what happens when I'm happy?
I am on such a losing streak. I wish I'd been on that trip with you.
Why can I go for basically 2 days to Vegas and have such good luck?
Yeah.
And we go out to Harris Rincon for 5 hours and it's just crap.
Yep.
Just crap.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Well, good trip. All right. Well, I think that what listeners really want to know now that you're back is the new Lucky Dragon Casino over there opened before you went for your trip. So it was open while you were there. So tell us all about it, your impressions. How's the service? How's the gambling? How does everything look? Tell us all about it. Don't leave anything out.
I'll tell you everything I know about Lucky Dragon.
Okay.
They don't have craps.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
They don't have craps.
Yeah.
No, we actually talked about that. I said, Mark really wants me to go to Lucky Dragon. And Lynn's like, do they have craps? And I'm like, no. And then why are we going to go there?
Okay. So you didn't go?
I didn't
go.
No.
Okay. All right.
And you know what? We were down, but seriously, when we were down at the Wynn and Encore, I thought, well, it's not too far.
Well, I mean,
it's a ways.
You'd still Uber it. You wouldn't. You wouldn't walk it.
Yeah. It's not too bad, but no, they don't have craps.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
So there you go. So if any listeners listening, if you want to play craps, don't go to Lucky Dragon.
That's right. That's right.
A couple other things real quick that I should mention. As far as nudity goes.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday morning, real early, like 8 o'clock in the morning, we did see a woman wearing only a shirt. No bottoms.
Okay.
And it was one of those little longer shirts.
Oh, so it covered everything.
Well, not exactly.
All right.
It was very close.
Okay. It was close.
Yeah. She was walking, holding it down.
Okay. All right.
To pull it down to get
I
it
got
covered.
you. Yeah.
And her boyfriend had his arm around her neck, and I think his arm was kind of hiking it up.
Okay.
She had to hold it down when she walked.
All right.
And Lynn actually got close enough to make sure that there were no shorts under there.
Okay.
And no, it was really just a shirt.
Okay.
So that's as close as we got to nudity.
All right, good.
And I made a sports bet for a friend of mine at Caesars, and I got 2 free drink coupons.
Oh, how much did you bet?
$100.
Oh, okay.
Two $50 parlays.
Oh, that's good. So $100, and they gave you 2 drink tickets.
She was
oh, good.
super nice.
Good.
I mean, super, super nice.
Great.
Because he was doing these parlays, and one of them was a straight parlay, 3 teams. The other was 6-team parlay with a 6-point teaser.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And me, how lazy I am, I didn't want to actually look up all the spreads.
Uh-huh.
So I just told her this is who he wants. I don't know what the numbers are on the games.
Okay.
She pulled out her sheet and looked up every single one and had no problem doing that. It was sweet and as nice as
that's good. That's a good story. Good.
So, so I tipped her. I should ask him for that tip.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't even your bet.
It wasn't my bet, and I tipped her. Anyway, so great trip.
Good.
And nothing but good things to say about that.
Good. All right. Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. All right, let's jump into our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. So last episode, we were talking about how MGM National Harbor opened, and we have a couple of calls about that.
Great.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Washington, D.C. area. Love the show, guys, and been listening to it for a couple of months now. Just want to give you a trip report. Went to the National Harbor MGM Grand. One thing I can say, hopefully it's not the future of casinos because it's very expensive. Went there at 9:30 in the morning on a Monday. Minimum bets at the crap table was $25. Minimum bet on blackjack, $25 with 6 to 5 odds and dealing out a continuous shuffling machine. If you wanted to play out for $50 minimum for blackjack. And that did pay 3 to 2. Generally didn't have very much success my first time out, even switched to the don't side. Won for a bit and still ended up losing over 1,000. But we'll keep at it. Hope you guys are interested in this report and keep on the great show.
Yeah, I had read that first week, it was filled to capacity. Literally, they had to turn people away because it was
people in.
It was packed. So
probably past the fire marshals.
Yeah, that could be. So I have a feeling that's why the real high minimums are right now, and I suspect those will start to go down.
Whenever a casino opens, it's that way, right? Yeah, they have high minimums at first, and it'll go down to a normal thing when the crowds die down, and that's, I guess, expected.
Sure. I mean, if you can do it. It is terrible to hear that, $25 blackjack was 6 to 5. You had to go to 50 to get a 3 to 2 game. But it's the crowd. So hopefully those will go down. So another report from Andrew.
Hey guys, it's Andrew from Virginia. Just left from my first trip up to the MGM National Harbor. Just wanted to give you guys an update. It is a beautiful, beautiful casino. It's probably the nicest casino I've ever been in. Think of Aria meets Bellagio meets Cosmo in 2016. I mean, it is perfect. And I heard on the last show you guys said it was about 45 minutes from D.C. It might be 45 minutes in rush hour traffic, but from downtown D.C. to the casino is under 10 miles. I mean, it's close. It's a good place to be. I hope I can meet you guys out there one day, at least Dr. Mike when he comes in March. And I took $3,000 of their money on my first trip, so I'm a fan so far. Anyway, I love the show, guys. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas, and keep up the good work.
Nice. Thanks, Andrew. Oh, good. So, this is going to be a good trip for you. Then I'll make sure you have Andrew's number. But when you're out there in March, it sounds great.
If it's 10 miles, that's a lot closer than I thought.
Yeah, but still, like you said, with traffic, maybe 45 minutes. So, but still, that's something to look forward to.
Well, and it's getting good reviews, right? So.
Well, as far as I know, anytime something opens, there are going to be issues. There were some fights that really? Happened there, and anytime a place is packed, like it has been.
Right.
There's going to be something. But as far as the actual facility goes, we've heard a lot of good things about it. Yes.
Yeah. It's packed. There's probably some guy walking around, correcting dealer mistakes and stuff.
Yep.
Starting fights.
That's right. That's what's, Okay, on the last episode, Taylor and Tara were talking about dipping their toes into the poker pool in Las Vegas. So listener Dan has some advice there.
Hey, hi, this is Dan from Baltimore. Hey, your recent episode had a caller with a question about poker in Vegas and 2-4 limit and some other things. Yeah, just to provide some additional information, the Flamingo always has a 2-4 limit game running. Always, it's a standard game there. And also, I know you mentioned, not playing no limit. Probably, in general, a good recommendation. However, if they're playing home tournaments a lot, there are several daily tournaments in Las Vegas that are no limit format. and I think they are good value for the dollars, even though they may not be, overall value for professional poker players. There's still good entertainment value. The best one, I'd say is probably the Arias, $125 tournament. They usually have once or twice a day. Check, their website for times. And most casinos that have poker rooms have daily tournaments, so I would recommend them checking their websites. And then, with regards to playing no-limit cash games, there's nothing wrong with buying in a 1-2 or a 1-3 no-limit game for the minimum, usually around $100, and just short stacking it for an hour or so. Just watching how people play, you'll get a feel for the game, just playing quality cards and just, shoving, for your short stack when you got the nuts. And you'd be surprised how many times you get paid off. Anyway, love the show. Have a good one. See you. Bye.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Yeah,
good advice, Dan.
That's good advice.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially those tournaments.
Yes.
They are fun for your money.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, if you've got the time.
Right.
It's a great way. And
if you're
maybe
in Vegas for more than a couple days.
Yeah.
Like, you hear people going for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to sit down and play one of those tournaments. The buy-ins usually aren't that big.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of value, entertainment value for your money. You probably won't win.
Right.
Because it's kind of like winner take all kind of deal.
Sort of. You make place in the money, get your money back or something. Yeah, it could happen, sure. Well, it's funny because I actually prefer limit poker to no limit. And here's why. In no limit, first of all, you can get wiped out. With a great hand, you can get wiped out and suddenly you have none of your money. Sure. But really, why I prefer limit is because sometimes in no limit, if you've got a draw, like a straight draw or a flush draw, and your opponent bets, you may not be getting the right price for your draw to call.
Right.
Whereas in limit, a lot of times you are. So more times in limit, you're getting the right price for some of these draws.
Right.
And I think that's more fun. It's I want to stay in and try to get a straight.
It makes it easier to make that call, too.
And
if you're getting value for your bet.
Yeah. Now you're going to get sucked out on more, too, right?
Sure.
In a limit game, because then the other guy makes the straight, and if you were playing no limit, you could have bet enough to get him out.
Right.
But that's why I prefer it. I think it's more fun. That's just
you're
me.
usually the guy sucking out on people.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not. Are you kidding me?
I think you
No,
are.
I'm the one with pocket aces who gets sucked out on, all right? I can't believe you said that. That's not the truth. But that does make it fun when you hit those one-outers.
Actually, I'm saying that because Mark's favorite thing is to hammer somebody.
What?
Who's sitting there? No, like Bill, sitting there with a...
You have got me complete opposite.
Well,
that is not how I play
poker. Bill will be there
poker.
betting a marginal hand, and you'll have a great hand.
Yeah.
And you love when he doesn't suck out on you.
Well, yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
but they love it more when they suck out on me. They love to suck out on me.
They do. They do. Right. But I think it happens more the other way, where you play that great hand, and they're hoping the whole time, and then they're mad at you. That's the part I love.
All right.
They're mad at you.
All right. So for those who don't play poker, suck out on means that a player against the odds made a hand and beat you, and it is a poker term. We're using it correctly.
Yeah, we're not making that up. It does sound kind of made up, doesn't it?
Does. All right, next call.
Hey guys, Richard from Orange County here. Just want to call and give you a quick trip report. So I was listening to last week's podcast on my way up to Long Beach to fly to Vegas. Listened to the first half of the podcast before I got to the airport, got there, had my whole trip to Vegas, came home, got in the car, turned the second half of the podcast on, and realized you guys were at Caesars on Saturday night while I was actually there. So bummed I missed you guys.
Yeah.
Had a great run while we were out there. We were staying at Caesars, and I did learn something new while I was out there. I was playing with a couple of guys who have been playing craps for a long time, and they played a little differently than I did. But essentially, I normally just play pass line, single odds, and then a couple of come bets. Anytime I get a come bet, I actually put single odds on there too. And they were giving me a hard time saying, no, make your pass line bet, and then go ahead and put 35 on your odds. Quit making those come bets. And I'm sitting there going, okay. And then they hit, and I would make way more money on my pass line odds with a triple 4 times odds than I would with the single odds on my pass line and money on my come bets too. So I know that's probably common sense, but actually seeing the money come in was something that really helped me out and actually changed kind of the way I was playing. Also, just have to say, we tried out some hop bets just goofing around, and we hit 3 hop bets while we were playing at Caesars that night. On a $5 hop bet on 6, boom, next roll, hit it, taking home money. So, again, love the show, guys. Just wanted to get your take on putting up more odds versus playing single odds and putting some money out on the come bets and see what you guys think. So, again, bummed I missed you at Caesars, but have a good one.
Now, this is kind of the way that Brad plays,
yes,
right?
This is the way Brad from Houston plays.
He just plays the pass line with odds,
right?
And that's his bet.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, that's fine if the shooter's just rolling points.
Well, it's great if points are coming up, but it sucks if they come out on an 8 and that's the only 8 they rolled. Meanwhile, they rolled 14 sixes.
Right? Yeah.
Right? You know that it can go either way.
Yeah, it can go. You know what it comes down to is sometimes the dice are going to behave based on the way you're betting, and sometimes they won't. It's so funny because Coach Fav on the latest Casinos USA podcast was kind of talking about this too, where a friend of his was only betting the pass line and he was making a ton of money.
Right.
Meanwhile, Coach Fav, was making come bets, but then sevens were coming out on the come out roll, and he would lose the come bets. Yeah, he'd get his odds back. But, meanwhile, his friend is winning, the base bet every time. So, it really depends.
Right.
And ultimately, that's fine if your friends are telling you, oh, you should bet this way. And Coach Fab mentioned this too. Don't be telling other people, oh, here's how you should be betting.
Right.
Because if you get that way, well, you probably shouldn't have been making those hot bets. Right. So, but they paid off for you. So, you're having fun.
Well, the funny thing is, how many times have we come home from a trip out to the casino and we say, God, no points were hitting.
Yeah.
Especially for me, that's a killer.
That's
for
where
me.
you put most of your money, correct? Yeah,
and,
right.
When the points don't hit, it's like, oh my God, but 4s and 10s came up like crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then there'll be other nights where, all he did was make points. Gosh, why did I make all those place bets?
Yeah,
I didn't
made all those
a single
place
one
bets,
of them.
And all the guy did was roll point after point after point.
Yep.
So
anything can happen in craps in the short run.
I know. So that's why everyone should play the way they want to have fun.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because in the long run, it's probably going to even out for the most part.
Well, I don't know about even out.
Well,
but,
not making.
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the hot bets and things like that. I'm talking about just pass line.
If you're making smart bets. Regardless of the combination, in the long run, it should be about the same.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Should work out the same, right?
Yeah.
Although that all tall, all small, you can't beat that.
No, you can't beat.
You gotta admit.
I'll tell you, that's been your thing this year. You're way up for that bet.
Way up for that
insane.
bet.
Oh, I meant to ask you
too.
too.
I'm cheating.
At Caesars. Did they have the old payouts like we saw last time?
Yes.
So they hadn't updated to the crummier payouts?
No, they didn't have the crummier payouts. They had the good old payouts.
So was that 176 for one and 35 for one?
35 for one,
Oh, well, okay. It's
but
good
other places that we were at that we saw, they
had reduced it.
They had reduced it, yeah.
All right. Hey, let's hear from my sister.
Hi, Mark. Dr. Mike. It's your sister, Sue. I wanted to call because we're in Vegas right now, my wife, Elle, and I wanted to share a couple of things about our trip. Yesterday, we went to get some food at the Caesars food court, and I was going to take it over to the sports book and watch the Cowboys game for the evening game. When we got over there, we realized that they'd actually charged now for people to sit in the sports book. Didn't know if that was a new phenomenon. I wanted to see if you'd heard about that. We got there at about 5:45 p.m., and they charged $75 for you to sit in the first couple rows through the evening. Anyway, there were people sitting on the floor behind it because they still wanted to watch the game with all the TVs, and everyone else who actually paid the fee sat up front. So we nixed that, went back to the food court. So I was a little disappointed in that. And now we're at the Santa Fe station playing Megabucks, dollar machines. Kind of a nice little local area. You can tell the clientele are locals. Kind of a fun place to spend the afternoon. We also went for the first time to Aliante, which is up the freeway, a little closer to Nellis Air Force Base over by the federal prison. That was really nice. Really enjoyed that casino. Anyway, I wanted to pass that along. It's been a good trip so far. People have been friendly. And Elle's playing Megabucks right now. So I got to go. All right. Thanks. Merry Christmas.
All right. So Sue sent a follow-up call about the sports book. So let me play that.
Well, let me make a couple comments first.
Okay.
We have not been to this Aliante.
I know. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Let's.
How did we miss that?
I'll tell you why. All right. Listen to this next call from Sue, and then we'll talk about all that.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Sue following up. Wanted to make sure you got good information from me on this trip to Vegas. Sorry if there's background noise. We're now sitting in the sports book. Apparently, the restriction on sitting in the sports book appears to only be during Sunday games. So when we were heading to sit down yesterday, Sunday, there was a $75 charge to sit. And here I am Monday night watching the game, and it's free seating. So looks like it's on a limited basis as far as that exorbitant fee, sit in the chair and watch 20 screens at the same time. Just wanted to give you the correct information. Okay, bye.
Okay, so yeah, when there's a major event like NFL Sunday,
right,
it is typical now for the major sports books, and Caesars certainly is one of the major sports books in town.
I
to
do
charge.
think that's a ripoff.
Well, $75. $75.
Yeah,
that's
a lot.
steep.
I mean, I have Red Zone. I watch all the games on Red Zone, right? I mean, $75. Yeah. I'm surprised Sue and Elle didn't go up to the room.
Well,
get your food and go up to the room,
really,
watch the game.
You'll see this for again, like the Super Bowl. Obviously, that's a different thing. But even maybe for a college Saturday football games or major sporting events, certainly for the Final Four, March Madness, right? Stuff like that. You'll see that charge. But I was actually surprised that they didn't charge for Monday Night Football at all. That she was able to just think, $5 or a little something just for that.
Right? Yeah, to sit up front or the first few rows. Yeah. Well, I wonder if Elle and Sue knew that they have a craps table there.
Yeah, I don't know
because I would just go play craps.
It's kind of off to the side. It's hard to see the screens from that craps table if it's still where I remember it being.
It's impossible from there.
Okay,
yeah.
so
but I mean, I would just go play craps and tell them where they can put their $75.
Yeah, that's hard to. I don't know why they didn't go play craps, other than maybe they were all just ready to eat.
Yeah, and have no interest in craps.
That's right. So you were talking about Allianz. So Sue was calling from Santa Fe Station. We have been there about 20 years ago.
We went to all the stations.
You and I, we went to them all. We tried to hit every casino in the Las Vegas area. We rented a car and we went to a bunch of them. Now, Alliante has opened since then. It's only been open like 8 years.
All right. So
that's why we haven't been there.
Yeah, we need to go to that.
Yeah.
Another place that we don't talk about much, and this made me think about it, is Red Rock.
We've never been there. I know.
Well, I've been there.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
That's right. I had forgotten about that. That's right. I haven't been there yet.
But it's very nice.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
It's very nice. Yeah. It's just far out there.
Well, one of these days we'll have to do that when we're in Vegas. Just say, okay, we're going to hit all the casinos, all the newer casinos.
So we're going to put that on our list. Yeah. We're going to hit all the casinos that have come up since we
did it, which again was about 20 years ago. So there are a few that we have to hit.
So we need to hit all those.
Yep, definitely.
I mean, what kind of podcast are we if we haven't been to every casino?
I know. It's awful.
It's terrible.
When we think about it, when you look at all the casinos in the United States, we've been to so few of them.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Let's quit. I quit. That's it.
All right. Well, this is our last podcast. Thanks for listening. Hey, we want to thank. It's not really our last. I want to make sure after that April Fool's episode, of insurance, you guys are nuts. We want to thank people for some PayPal donations. First of all, some recurring donations from Brian and Sarah, and also from Zach. Thanks very much. Also from Will, he says, thanks for playing my message again. We had him on the air last time. Also from Brian, he says, I love it all. Home poker game, casino stories, instructions for all types of gambling, etc. All of it. Listening through from the beginning for the second time. Ooh, that's rough.
But
Brian,
I apologize. I owe Brian
I don't know why you want to put him through that.
I think I owe him a night of well drinks, not just one.
Maybe some higher shelf stuff. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you.
Give him some of the Patron.
Also from Christopher, he says, a karma donation for upcoming Christmas and wedding anniversary trip. Love the show. Oh, great. Good. Congratulations. And a PayPal donation from John. He said, the Raiders won again, barely. I really did think the Chargers were going to hang on. Okay. Are you crazy, John?
Yeah, John.
You really thought the Chargers were going to hang on? We certainly didn't.
Some mental institution or something?
We certainly didn't.
No, I had no.
Oh, my God.
I fell asleep. Okay,
Let's not dwell on this, all right? The Chargers lost.
Right.
We expected them to lose.
We had some lunch like around 1:30, and I just got tired on the couch. I fell asleep, and my cousin nudges me and says, you're missing the game. They're ahead. And I'm like, no, I'm not missing anything.
Nep. And finally, thanks for the PayPal donation from Taylor. He's going 4 nights starting on Christmas Day.
Nice.
Oh, very nice. So have a lucky trip. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike, this is our last episode of the year. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry
Happy
Christmas
New Year.
to you.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yep. Happy holidays to everybody out there, whatever you celebrate.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll have good luck over the holidays.
Exactly, yeah.
We're not going to be there at Harrah's Rincon for the $1 Million Drawing.
On New Year's Eve, you're not going? Yeah, I'm not going.
I'm not going to go this year.
Yeah.
One person wins $1 million, and that's great.
But, yeah.
And, it's probably not going to be me. It hasn't been me for the last few years.
Huh.
It's very crowded.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
And if you stay overnight, it's not so bad. But I can't stay overnight. I got kids, and
right.
So anyway, not going this year.
Okay.
But we may go that weekend, right?
Let's definitely go the weekend. So we'll probably go Friday, would be that 30th. So
right.
yeah.
So we'll probably go that Friday.
Yep.
It's going to be crowded out there all week.
Yeah.
This is, a lot of people. Well, you have this week off. You're taking.
I took it off. Yeah.
So that's good. A lot of people have it off. So a lot of people out there gambling. Be safe. Have a lot of fun.
Yep.
We should mention this, a big thing for us in our lives. It's actually raining today.
Yeah, in San Diego, very unusual, huh?
Yeah, very unusual.
Raining hard. So
it was raining pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I need to win. Yes. I am on. You want to talk about a terrible losing streak?
Yeah,
you had that good Vegas trip to kind of make up because we've been losing together.
Right.
But,
well, at Vimp, I had a good trip and I had a good Vegas trip. But boy, out at Harrah's Rincon, what is it?
It's been terrible.
I don't know.
It's those cards. It's not real craps. It's those cards.
It's those damn cards. Yeah. I know what it is, and I've told you what it is.
Yeah, we won't say it on the air because we do know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening.
Good night.